Alright guys, it's Khalif from Fat Guy Skinny Wallet here, and I'm here to talk about intermittent fasting. I told you guys for the last two weigh-in videos that I made a change in my diet, and I was hoping that it would help me get through this plateau that I was experiencing for the whole summer, really, for the last 3 months, and that it would help me to burn more fat, and make sure that with my intense cardio that I was not burning muscle. So, what I decided to do was intermittent fasting. Now, I'll just go through it briefly. Down in the description, there is a link to an article that I wrote. The article is over 1,600 words long. So it gives you a bunch of information and a few different links that you can go to find out a lot more about intermittent fasting. But first, I'll just kind of go through a quick rundown. But you're really going to find more information on my website, in the article, and also in the resources that I link to. So what is intermittent fasting? First, intermittent fasting is just a way of timing your meals, and it's just a pattern that you try to stick to daily of when to eat and when not to eat. It's intermittent fasting because you are fasting for a period of time, then you eat, then you fast, then you eat. So that's where you get the term from. So it's not a complete fast where you're saying, for instance, many times you'll see even in the Bible there are spiritual fasts. There are fasts where you set aside food and other things, and you take that time to focus on God and really get serious about a matter, and you spend that time in prayer. You pray and you fast. Usually when there's some type of calamity coming, you'll have a fast for that. So that's a complete fast. You may fast for 7 days, 21 days, 40 days, 10 days, so different fasts, different things. Sorry, I just finished the workout and there's sweat and everything all over my body. So, but I'm just trying to do this so quickly with intermittent fasting. There are different types, and if you go to the article, I'll describe all the different types. I'm only going to talk about what I'm doing. What I'm doing is a 16-8 split, so you fast for 16 hours and you eat for 8 hours. What's good about it is that the 16 hours includes your sleep time, so you're not fasting as long as you think you are. For me, I chose the times of 12 noon to 8 p.m. to be the times that I eat. So for many people, if you take that time, you'll only be missing breakfast, and then when you're ready to have lunch at noon, there you go. That's when you break your fast. And as long as you have your last meal before 8 p.m., you're doing what I'm doing with intermittent fasting. The only difference with me is I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. So my fast usually lasts for about 8 hours of my wake time, and then I'll eat for 8 hours, and then have a couple hours where I'm not eating. Then I'll go to sleep, and then do the same thing over again. But like I said, that's what intermittent fasting is. It's not some special fancy thing. It's not that you eat certain foods at a certain time and certain foods at another time. It's not that you abstain from carbs for 3 days and you fast from it and then you have the big carb load day one. It's not any of those kind of crazy things. It's basically, rather than eating from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you restrict it to an 6 to 8 hour period. Some other fasts do other things, but again, I won't stretch this video out by talking about them. Okay, another thing I want to say is intermittent fasting is not a fad diet. It's not, like I mentioned, it's not some of those other things that you do. It's not something that says you restrict this part of of your normal diet and then you introduce it back in. It's nothing like that. What it just says is that you restrict the time that you eat. It's not a fad diet. Also, in that it's not meant to make you lose 30 pounds in a month and then you go on with your normal life. It's not something that you do and then you decide to stop because you've seen the results. It's just changing your way of life. And the reason why is because there's a lot of other health benefits involved in this type of eating. It's not just that you are doing this to lose weight or anything, or to achieve a certain goal. You're not just doing this to burn fat if you're a bodybuilder, so that you can look more lean for your competitions. that's not what it is. So you can reduce your body fat from 6% to 4%. That, I mean, of course it has that benefit, and sometimes people, will incorporate it for that. But that's not why I'm doing it. And a lot of the people that you read about who are serious about it, they just change their life to eat in this manner. So again, you have to look at the website to see look at my article, read all the other things. There's a lot of research about it, which again, I'm going to direct you to my article. There's a ton of research or enough research, I would say, to show that it's effective and to show that there are no adverse effects to eating this way, including with your metabolism. Eating this way does not slow down your metabolism. Eating this way actually speaks. There's actually a study that showed that short periods of fasting, meaning less than, I believe it was 36 hours, periods of fasting up to 36 hours, actually can increase your metabolism. So it would seem that periodic fasts may be things to do. There's one fast called the alternate day fast, where you fast for up to 36 hours and you eat for 12, fast for 36. There's a modified alternate day fasting where you consume about 25% of your daily caloric intake on your fasting day. There's another fast where you just you fast for 1 to 2 days a week, and that's really just kind of maintenance for health benefits. It's almost like people doing a cleanse or some type of juice fast to do a reboot. It has that same idea to it. So I break down the other types of fasting. Yes, I'm looking at the article right now, but I break down the other types of intermittent fasting and for your different goals. So again, there's been a lot of research done, and I list some studies here so you can go and check them out for yourselves and read the actual studies and check this out, because it goes against conventional wisdom about eating 5 to 7 small meals a day. And I actually was doing that, and I'll tell you about that in a second, but cautions. With intermittent fasting, there's the idea that, again, this may be some sort of fad, or just the timing alone is what controls how your body reacts, and so people may be tempted to eat whatever they want. You think you can eat 5 hoagies and 2 large pizzas. As long as you do it within an 8-hour window and you fast the rest, you're fine. That's definitely not true with intermittent fasting. If you're and I'll go into the second caution and kind of combine them. Not eating enough is the other one. Because you're only eating in an 8-hour window, you may not be able to get all your calories in. So if you need, for whatever your fitness goals are, your health goals, you need 2,000 calories a day, it may be hard to squeeze 2,000 calories into an 8-hour period. So you have to make sure that you set up your meals accordingly. So you're not going to have the same 250 to 300 calorie meal that you did when you were eating 6 times a day. But you're now going to say, all right, my meal needs to be 600 calories. Excuse me, my first meal needs to be 700, and my next 2 meals need to be 600, and I need to eat them within 8 hours. And so you need to start thinking like that. And so you don't want to go overboard and eat too much, and you don't want to eat too less. I mean, it's the same. You're just changing the timing of your eating, but that doesn't affect how the food goes into your body. One thing I will say is it takes about 6 or 7 hours for your body to digest food and to sort out all of the nutrients from the waste and things like that. Of course, certain types of food and certain nutrients are absorbed faster. Certain vitamins can only be absorbed with fat, so make sure that you do have fat. But you get the idea, right? That you don't have to worry about the times that you're fasting. You're not going to throw your body into starvation mode or anything like that. That happens over a longer period of time. God created us, and God didn't create us to sit around and eat all day. So even when you look at the Bible and you see what they did, they worked for a long period of time, and they only ate a couple of times. If that, throughout the day, and they had a big part of their meals in small periods of time. So I do believe that our body was created to really take advantage of this type of eating schedule. So my final thoughts on it, because it's still 10 minutes long. My final thoughts is that it's been very easy for me. I always do a fasted workout. I can't eat or drink before I work out, so I'm not missing anything. My workouts have the same amount of energy. My body has the same amount of energy. I have energy throughout the day. I feel clear and lucid, so I don't have any effects of feeling malnourished or feeling like my blood sugar levels have dropped tremendously and I need to eat something. I don't feel like that at all. I feel perfectly fine. There's only been a couple of days when I felt hungry, and I'll be honest, the only time I felt hungry in the morning before I was going to break the fast was when I went over my when I ate past 8 o'clock the night before. That was the only times. When I stick with the 8-hour feeding window, I'm fine. But if 8 o'clock comes and I'm out, or if I'm doing something and I don't get a chance to eat and I come home at 9 and I eat, then I wake up hungry. Or I don't, maybe not wake up hungry, but I get hungry about 9, 10 o'clock and I'm stressing, oh, when is noon going to come? And you know what? I'll eat at 11 o'clock and then say, hey, I'll just do 11 to 7 today. It's not something that's so rigid, because again, it's not some gimmick. It's not, if you follow this thing perfectly, it will work. If you go to my website, read up about it, and then if you look at the one that I'm doing, the particular plan that I'm following, I think it fits my lifestyle the best. And that's the big thing about this, is that this is about changing your lifestyle. Changing the way you do things. This isn't about some quick fix. So since you're changing the way that you do things, you have to make this plan work for you. You know that it's an 8-hour window seems to be optimal. 16-8 seems to work very well, especially if you're doing weight training or you're doing heavy athletics. So because of that, you want to make sure that you stick with that, so you stay within a range. If it's 9 hours one day that you eat, and if it's 7 the next day, it's not a big deal. If it's 9 hours and 9 hours and 9 hours, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Matter of fact, the gentleman who really put this plan together says that for women, he usually suggests 14 hours because of their, the amount of body fat and other needs that they have. So, that's about it. Another caution, I guess I would say, about any type of fasting program, especially the longer ones. I mentioned it on my site as well in the article I wrote, but if you're pregnant or if you're hypoglycemic or diabetic, then you just want to be careful, and you want to consult your doctor, and you want to make sure that you're still able to to maintain a hormonal balance while doing all of that. So this video was pretty long, even though I didn't get to cover everything, but I'm telling you, there's a lot more stuff that I'm just staring at the article now, and I wrote so much stuff and I skipped over most of it because I didn't want to bore you by just sitting here reading the article. But if you have any questions at all, go read the article, and I would suggest you leave a comment on my website about it under the article rather than on YouTube, because YouTube, you're limited and you can only write you can only use 500 characters, and there's a lot of other restrictions where it's on my website. I'm not really restricted. And matter of fact, you can email me from my website if you have an extremely long question, and I may even turn it into an article. The answer to your question may even become an article, and I credit you with that. So anyway, that's it. Dan Khalif from Fat Guy Skinny Wallet. Make sure you check in the description, go to the article, and make sure that you check me out on all these social media channels. I'm going to say at the end of just about every video, the Fat Guy on Facebook.com, Fat Guy on Twitter.com, Fat Guy on Pinterest.com, and my YouTube channel, Fat Guy on YouTube.com. Alright, so I'll see you guys later.